Hello Seoul Byters! Welcome back to All Things Korea Episode 3! Last week we saw the trainees perform their signal song and received a low score of 59. As a result, half of the group had to be eliminated. They had to vote amongst themselves to determine who will be sent to the ground. If you want to find out more about the intense competition in last week's episode, you can catch up with our ILand Episode 2 recap. See links down below. The trainees soon learned of their individual scores privately. Chongwon received the highest score of 75, followed by Daniel at 70, Donu at 67, Son at 66, Nikki at 65, Hisung at 61, Jae at 59, K at 58, Sungmoon at 57, Youngbin at 47, Nicholas at 46, and Jake, lowest at 40. Nikki shared his regrets, saying that the group would have had a higher average score if Hisung was the leader instead of him. The first Islander to be sent to the ground was Youngbin, who was voted out by everyone except himself. The second was Daniel, who received 11 votes. Jake, who received 10 votes, was also sent to the ground. I knew that I would of course be eliminated, he said. The fourth Islander to head to the ground was Jay after receiving 9 votes. Nicholas was also eliminated with 8 votes. The final Islander to be eliminated was Nikki. He said, "I think the reason I was chosen was the team got a poor score because I did part 1. Everyone kind of knew that this was coming except Daniel. We were equally surprised that Daniel, who had the second highest score, was actually voted out, guys. You can absolutely see the disappointment and shock in his face when his name was announced. Daniel said, "I've been eliminated? Even though I got a high score? I was really shocked." Perhaps this has something to do with his comment about wanting to stay as a poker face throughout the competition. We have to remember that Daniel is actually a Korean American and is only 14 years old. He also did run around consoling others and asking for hugs. This action could have been misinterpreted as a sarcasm or showing off in the Korean culture, although we believe that Daniel probably had no bad intentions as such. The remaining Islanders bid farewell in tears to those heading to the ground, and many of the ones leaving promised they'll be back. The judges also choose 6 grounders based on their individual practice videos in episode 2 to replace the 6 spots in ILand. Now, if you recall, Nikki actually voted out his friend Taki in episode 1. Even when Taki learned of this betrayal, he still rooted for his friend Nikki. Karma came too soon. Taki was selected to move up to ILand. Nikki surely didn't look too pleased. Taki commented that he intends to stay in the island and never return to the ground. The other 5 members sent to the island are Taeyong, Chaebom, EJ, Yoonwoo, and Sunwoo. A wave of emotions swept through the boys as they embraced each other and congratulated their friends who made it to the island. Similar to the first mission, Mission 2 will be focusing on teamwork. Both Islanders and Grounders will perform a remix of Fire by BTS. They were given 6 days to prepare. Once again, the same scoring system will be used, except this time, the highest individual scorer in ILand will be given an elimination immunity. If there were no dropouts in the island, the Grounders' performance will be cancelled. In episode 2, Jay was never really given a chance to show his ability despite many attempts to vie for a better role. In episode 3, Jay was more aggressive and successfully became the leader of the Grounders. Jay has a huge ambition to go back to the island and push his team to train really hard. Many members grew wary of his training. During one of their breaks, Nikki, Youngbin, Jake, and Jay were discussing how they were surprised at the lack of urgency and determination from the original Grounders. Nikki then tried to lead the practice, but was met with much criticism when he kept picking on Kyungmin, who was actually sick at the time. Back on the island, Hisung was unanimously selected as the leader of the Islanders. To summarize, the Islanders' consensus for the parts were as follows. Hisung was center, K part 2, Chungwon part 3, Konu part 4, Son part 7, Chaebom part 9, Sunwoo part 10, EJ part 11, and Taki part 12. The remaining parts 5, 6 and 8 went to Sunghoon, Haeyoung and Yeonwoo. If you noticed, the better parts pretty much went to the original Islanders. Some of the new Islanders actually wanted the better parts but did not have the confidence to recommend themselves for the role. Some viewers commented that the original Islanders purposely made the new Islanders feel uncomfortable by operating individually. No assistance was given by the leader for learning the new dance moves. The team leader instead was constantly seen practicing by himself. During mealtime, EJ walked over to sit with the original Islanders. J-Bomb was quick to point out that EJ looked like the type who has an insider character. Sitting in the corner with Sunwoo, J-Bomb felt that he and Sunwoo were more like outsider. In Korea, the term insider actually means someone who is sociable and is easily accepted into a group. Outsider is exactly the opposite of that, and J-Bomb felt that he is very much of an outsider. In some ways, the boys felt that everyone were too serious on the island. This comment perhaps stirred a sense of urgency in Sunwoo, as he definitely did not want to become an outsider. He slowly approached Sunghoon and tried to ask if they could be close friends. When Sunghoon mentioned that he thinks Jake is cute, Sunwoo said that he could be cuter than Jake. That was hilarious and awkward at the same time. Another group forming worth mentioning was Tae and Taki. Quite different from the rest, Taki actually shows his respect to Kay through his actions, which could sometimes appear like a father and son relationship. It was really fresh and heartwarming to see Kay's affectionate brotherly side. Considering that Taki was sort of betrayed by Nikki at the start of this show, we hope that he doesn't get hurt twice. In fact, we hope that this Hyung and Tongseng relationship will continue to grow and aid in the success of this team. During the interim review, Rain and Dubu evaluated the grounders, while Zico, P-Dog and Son Sung-duk evaluated the Islanders 2 days before the official test. Great Stage Master Rain was really upset when he observed that the grounders had no teamwork and could not sync. He also felt that it was disrespectful of Jay to outright skip an important part of the dance without even trying. You know how most mentors tend to only point out the bad side of things? Master Rain, however, actually even showed each of them the way to fix their mistakes. He spent time to show them how to sing. Rain and Dubu also helped to perfect the dance part that Jay initially thought was dangerous. The grounders seriously need to thank Rain, as we felt that they would not have made it if he didn't come to rescue them. Likewise, Son Sung-duk, the choreographer of Fire Dance, was greatly disappointed at the Islanders' performance during the evaluation. According to him, the formation was messy, moves were not in sync, and he doesn't understand why the Islanders chose to skip the most important part of the cooperative choreography. His own reason that he purposely skipped this part, as he thinks that the evaluation of each individual score was much more important. Son Sung-duk reminded him that the performance was about teamwork and the ability to cooperate, and that they missed the most crucial part. Hee-sung was quite quick to admit his mistake and quickly redeemed himself by having his team members sort out their discomforts. This move paid off, and the Islanders actually managed to remove all hostility prior to the official test. The newfound friendship was translated into their brilliant performance. The Islanders received an average score of 80. This was remarkable and pretty much solidified everyone's trust in Hee-sung's leadership. Perhaps now the original Islanders team would have wished that they had just trusted Hee-sung since the beginning. Anyhow, great work, guys! Unfortunately, their average score is still too low to keep everyone in the island. Therefore, they had to choose 4 contestants to be removed from the island. The episode ended with the grounders walking to the stage to perform. We think Islanders all nailed their parts, so it is impossible to predict who should be voted out. How about you? Who do you think will be voted out? Stay tuned for our next episode where we will find out who will be removed from the island. Tell us what you think about the show and leave us your comments below. Like our video? Please remember to subscribe and like down below. Your support means a lot to us and is very much appreciated. Till next time, Seoul Byters! See ya!